Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Sunshine Study. I'm Dr. Rebecca, and this is Dr. Rebecca's Lifejoy channel. I offer one-to-one life coaching and counselling sessions. I love my work, I love my clients, and it is the loving purpose from many years of adversity, struggle, and suffering. And I wanted to do something with that and help people, and this is part of it. So today, I thought I'd write a video about the life lessons that our dog, Christy, the Lifejoy puppy, has taught us. Now, interestingly, YouTube suggested this video, but I think they probably wouldn't expect the content. I would have thought the expectation was that the dog has taught us to live in the moment and enjoy the small things and be utterly delighted by a treat, all of which is true. But the life lessons our dog has taught us have been much less glamorous. But I thought I'd share with them because everything that I share here, I hope will help. I hope it will offer hope, resilience, courage, wisdom, joy, grace, and a bit of glee too. So I had wanted a dog since I was 7, and there were 3 catalysts to that. I had read the book, The Boy Who Wanted a Dog by Enid Blyton, and loved it. My little friend across the road had a Labrador, and the Labrador had puppies, and I had never seen anything like it. It was all these little things scumpering around. It was so astonishing. And I so wanted one of those puppies. We couldn't have one, but it was set. I then had about 4 or 5 false starts of trying to get a dog, and a ton of illness meant that it was impossible. But for me, having a pet, and particularly having a dog to walk, was one of the greatest signs of normality, of health, of life. It was a status symbol in a very unstatus symbol kind of way. It was about fitting in. Oh, sorry, I've got to walk the dog. What a wonderful statement to say. But then the reality of having a dog hit us, and it was so gargantuanly different from anything we had expected. And we are well prepared people. I had read books, we had watched videos, we had asked lots of questions, and this was an experience that expanded me exponentially. So I've made some notes and I want to share them with you. Our dog was much harder than I could have ever imagined, much more expensive and much less predictable. Now, when we go into big things in life, we often have a set of assumptions and expectations. She defied them all, and that was a life lesson in itself. We had tried to rescue a dog for a year through the pandemic lockdown, but we couldn't succeed in that because we had never had a dog before. So we failed the criteria. But we were at home, we were wanting to do it, we walked, we tried, it seemed topsy-turvy. So in the end, we got a puppy, a cockapoo puppy, and it was not something we had planned, but, we had her because we had to make sure that she didn't molt and I wouldn't be allergic to her. And I had wanted this, like I'd wanted nothing else in my life. I'd really, really wanted a business, and I'd really, really wanted to write books. I'd managed to do that. I'd really, really wanted health and wellness and managed to attain some of that, but the yearning for this little creature was not something I had experienced. Now, sadly, I haven't managed to have any children. Illness dominated all of my 20s and 30s and a lot of my 40s. But this little creature, we could call her ours. I would be her mum. My husband would be her dad. My father would be her grandpa. There was something profoundly mending, healing about what this little creature would do. She did none of that. That's the really bit that's really entertaining. So what did she do that was so odd? Well, people say about that a dog is restrictive and that, you will have to be back and you can't go away and all of the things. And actually, she was none of those things because she fitted in with our life, and our life has several restrictions to it. So those things didn't worry me. What did astonish me is the things that she would not do, despite a one-to-one trainer and all the effort in the world. So generally, she doesn't like to go out for walks, which is the weirdest thing because you'd think she would, but she likes the coziness of the front room and the sofa. She doesn't like dog beds. She destroyed 7. She didn't like her cage. She didn't like going in big new outdoor spaces she didn't know. despite having lots of efforts to do that. She generally doesn't like other dogs, but she really, really likes people. And she really, really, really loves male people. So if she sees a bloke within 500 yards, she wants to be their friend. So one of the great life lessons is that she's not like a typical dog. She's not desperate to go for a walk. She's not desperate to play. She's not desperate to do anything really, except be with nice people. And there's a huge life lesson in that, because lots of people, when she was at her most destructive as a puppy, and this is not a couple of toys and a slipper, this was a super king size mattress, a dining room table and chairs, a fireplace, about 20 cushions, about 50 pillows, she was a chronic chewer, and it didn't matter what we did, she just wrecked everything. It's much, much better now, but it was horrendous. Soft chairs. She just loved stuffing. It was astonishing. But the thing she loved most was people. And the effect she's had showed that she wasn't bothered really about stuff because she'd wreck it. But she was bothered about relationships. And the joy she generated was phenomenal. And she'd go delally, manic with joy, and race around and zoom with delight just because she saw a new friend. And she'd pull towards somebody who was putting work gear in a van just to say hello. And she'd see somebody on a walk and she'd drag me over to see them. And one of the things she loves most is being out in a group of people. So if there's two of us, she'll just about go for a walk, but not really like a big open park or space. But if there's 3 of us or 5 or more, life is so good in numbers for Christy. We called her Christy because we got her at Christmas, and I wanted something of faith in her name, like faith or hope or joy or grace. And my husband at the time was reading a book by Agatha Christie, so we liked the name Christy with a Y. We had that choice. And when you haven't had any children and you haven't had the great blessing of preparation or choosing names, choosing a name for a puppy negates some of that sadness. So Christy, the Lifejoy puppy, came to us. The lack of sleep that we've had has been phenomenal. The life lesson from that is have joy in strangers, make friendships, love your people, but my goodness, cherish your sleep. It was phenomenal the amount of crying she did. And even now, if we get a full night where she doesn't, decide it's playtime at 2 a.m, it's ridiculous. So big life lesson, try and love people as much as you can. Try and love going out for walks as much as you can. Try not to wreck your furniture. Cherish your sleep. She always wants treats as well. So the joy that she's taught us has been immense. And I thought I knew quite a lot about joy. And it was 40 years of waiting. And then it was so much different, so odd, so peculiar, so much more demanding when I thought it would be like a fairy tale. Remember that too. And the other thing is, and I've written this down now, she adores my husband more than life itself. Not so keen on me, but he's the best. And the bit that's really funny is I decided that I would put her on my social media for my work because there was so much content in her daily shenanigans that it was entertaining. But I also knew that if I put her out publicly, I would have to keep her because there were hundreds of times when she'd behaved so badly, so exhaustingly, so expensively that I was like, oh, I can't cope anymore. And admitting that I couldn't cope anymore was an important part of my own growth. And then finally, the thing that really entertains me most is that she's quite a pretty dog. But I didn't know that dogs were pretty or not pretty. The thing that's so entertaining to me is that everybody would tell me she was so, so beautiful. And that seemed to somehow negate the need for discipline. I thought that was so entertaining. But there's moments where her beauty really has shone. There's moments where I've had clients who've been distressed during sessions and we've done some hard emotional work. And she's come in and she's jumped on my lap and she's tapped on the screen just to try and ease their discomfort. And I think, oh yes, that's my dog. That's the dog we wanted. And every now and again, she's just loved people who've needed a bit of extra care and attention. And every now and again, she's been a nightmare and we've had to forgive her a lot. So I hope there's some life lessons there that are very unique to my Lifejoy experience, but also that you can see the goodness, the joy, the light, the immense work, expense, and worry when she's ill. Oh my goodness. But also the delight and the goodness that spread wider. My oven alarm is just going off. I don't know if you could hear it. At least she hasn't eaten the oven. I wish you great joy, comfort, and hope. And if you can't manage to have a pet at the moment, can you have some joy from somebody else's? Can you have some amusement maybe? Can you puppy sit? But also my dog, Christy, writes my email newsletter. Yes, she does. She's very clever with her paws. So if you want to hear her view of life every other week on a Sunday, go on my website, Dr. Rebecca's Lifejoy. Sign up for her newsletters. She will tell you all about her life, how much she doesn't like me, but how much she loves her daddy. Take care, my friends. God bless. Be safe. Lovely to be with you. Please subscribe.